Hey guys, we'll get started in just a few seconds. AR, why don't you try to say something so we can make sure we can hear you?
Okay, can you hear me this time?
I can,
I've changed literally no settings.
and as far as I can tell, they can hear you. Although me and Dev could not before we went live.
I can hear you just fine now.
Yay.
And Dev, I'm reasonably sure they can hear you, but talk a bit more just so we can make sure.
My ankles are a travesty, and so is my wrist. I'm a very injured dev.
Let's see. Get some water here. Okay, you guys ready to go?
Mhm.
Yes.
Welcome to the With the Will podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, Run with the Will.
I'm AR Pulver, liberated from Digimon System Restore.
DevQ, and I am currently liberated from retail, only because of horrific injuries.
I was wondering how you were going to introduce yourself, AR.
I had to think about it for a minute there.
Yeah. It has certainly been a week of stuff. They decided to go overboard this week, even on top of the show Diginavi, them accidentally putting up stuff that they probably didn't mean to. There was a lot, and
Did they? I really didn't pay attention to Diginavi. So I don't really know what happened this
I
week.
kind of flicked through it.
this was actually a good one. But there's some stuff later that I'm reasonably sure we're not supposed to know about. But we'll get into that a bit later. How was everybody's week?
It's alright.
I cannot walk.
Well, that's your fault, Dev.
Yeah, pulling 50 hours a week
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
abusing every set of joints.
I play the same game, except my job is sitting down, which makes it not easier, just different. Easier on the body. And it's the one very odd thing about the way they announce Digimon simulcast is last time we did not know. We reasonably knew they would, but they didn't at the time. And hey, we actually got a few days heads up this time, which was nice, wasn't it?
So, by the way,
that's as
we
good
have
as it
this
gets.
thing. Please don't cancel your subscription.
I still think the best one ever was, I believe it was Try Part 1, where people were literally asleep and then they woke up, and not only was the announcement there, Try Part 1 was simply there.
They announced it the night before.
Yeah, but what I'm
That
saying
one they
is
at
I
least
know,
announced the night before, because
I
I
know,
had
but
time to email my boss say I wouldn't be in that
oh
day.
no, absolutely. But I'm saying I know people who were actually asleep when they announced it, and they woke up late, and it was already there.
Oh, okay.
As in, they 100% believed we would not be getting it, and then they just woke up and, hey, because we hadn't really we got it for Hunters, I believe, was the only one we actually got concurrently by that point.
Was it? I
I
don't know if they were doing it concurrently, because
it,
there
it
were.
was it was, but I think it was after the first couple episodes had aired. Now,
Hmm.
simulcasting at the time may have been a day or two behind, but it was
Okay.
what was considered, that for the time is what I mean.
Yeah, I remember I had to go find a a bootleg stream to watch the crossover episode, and if Crunchyroll had it, I wouldn't have
Oh,
stooped to that.
they 100% did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting up at like balls in the morning to watch Cross Wars on like like a TV Asahi.
Mm-hmm.
And
With the
now we have
Doraemon in front of it, it was great.
Scooby Doo.
I am delighted by Scooby Doo.
And I would
It's
very
the
much I would very much like them to decide what the episode titles are ahead of time, because the episode title in the show is not the episode title they were that was being listed at places, including on Fuji TV. They were very much using very long light novel episode titles, and they've apparently decided to throw that away and just go with reasonable titles. Although
I
again,
can't believe they decided to shorten the episode
yeah.
titles.
So this time we get the Sewn-Lip Man, which I kind of preferred the translation everyone was using before we got that, which at this point I don't even remember anymore. Like
Stitchy Face Man?
yeah, everyone had basically like agreed on the translation, and there was no arguments, and then they went with that.
Yeah, Stitch Face does sound a little more horror-ish.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, a little horror-ish is about how I would describe the horror aspects of Ghost Game.
Oh yeah, it's
Like, remember when people thought I was being mean when I said if it was half Zombie Island or Garfield's Halloween, that would be more than I expect?
I appreciated they went as far as they did.
Eh,
They showed the kids shriveled, aged corpses. I'm content with that, even though we
eh,
all knew they'd be reversed
yeah,
at the end of the episode.
yeah,
If you didn't know they'd be reversed at the episode, shame on you.
yeah. It is very strange to start a new show and to think about, even with a show going, how little we actually know at this point. Not through any problem of the show. The show just has a lot to do based on it being completely new. Because
Yeah, but
it's been a while.
they do a good job
They do.
establishing. They peel back just enough, as much as they wanted to,
Yeah.
and they did a good job establishing the world.
Yeah.
That's probably what I appreciated most about this, is that they're not going to worry so much about the details, about all the Digimon aspects of it, other than the
Yes.
very little we got in this episode. They're going to focus more on establishing Hiro's world, getting getting to know him a little bit,
Yes.
understanding that a little bit more, showing a tiny glimpses of the other two kids, and just kind of going from there. And that, I feel that approach works so much better than just launching head on into whatever Digimon aspect an episode would should have.
I'd say I feel like it did launch into it at the beginning. It circled back to give us that after, but it launched right into the plot first before we even got character introductions.
I
Into
like all the
the
little visual details with like the different holograms, and if you look at their phones, they
Mhm.
showing like
Yeah.
7G and everything,
Yeah.
and
But
holograms used as like really practical things.
what I mean is at the beginning, it's not. I mean, we all know, but it's not necessarily confirmed that they're Digimon right at the beginning. It's just this weird
To
urban
be
legend
fair,
about
the
this.
weird thing is this. I'm shocked at how quickly they peeled that away. I thought that would be there for at least a few episodes, to be honest.
What?
Yeah, then like hologram absent dad is just like, oh
Like,
yeah,
like,
this is the Digimon.
yeah, like they've already kind of peeled away that facade for the quote unquote new audience, like as
Yeah,
to what
I
these
I
things are.
I think that they're not bothering trying to hide that because we
Oh,
all know what's going
we
on.
we do. I just figured it'd be there a bit longer. I'm not saying I'm bothered by it. It's just, although I will say, does it feel like, I'm still the translations still feel kind of iffy, and I'm still fucking annoyed at Ruli. That feels, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
like that
just
one.
wrong. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna like just go duty for the podcast purposes. I'm gonna honey lemon it a little bit.
Yeah, I will say this. I'm very weirded out that it feels like after only seeing her for a minute, I already have a bead on that character. It just feels like it's the main girl from Hyoka.
I have no idea who that is, but
Me
Yeah,
okay.
neither.
it was a not quite horror anime with mysteries, and it was basically the girl just always wanted to get involved with mysteries because she was curious about what was going on.
Okay, so it's basically like Myra from Loki Ragnarok.
Haven't seen it.
That's like and
How dare you?
we're like one or two away from Ragnarok in our watch list, so we'll
Yeah,
get there. But yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, Duty seems she could be very standardized,
she's
but
good. Yeah, it's
I'm
weird.
gonna
Yeah.
reserve any judgment until we get to know her a little
Oh,
better.
absolutely.
What we saw of her was very basic this episode.
Yes, it was very. It was the very sort of stylized. Oh, the character has to do something wacky's not the right word, but has to like establish that they exist, and then they are moved on from because there's other stuff to do.
Hmm.
Um,
She might
so
be the more action oriented. She might be more active and she might be more proactive than the other two. Because
yes,
Kiyoshiro's going to be useless.
He may be a problem in the sense that they really will need to flesh out that character quickly because I can imagine him being very fucking annoying very fast.
But that's
He's
what's
just gonna be
kind
the
of
butt of everyone's jokes.
But what's kind of nice about that is that they kind of hit you with two tropes in one with him. Is him
Yes.
being presenting the facade of being the snotty rich, the snotty smart kid, and also being this ridiculous, superstitious coward. Those two blend together in an interesting way.
Yeah, I'm
And I
curious to
think
see where
if
that
they deliver
goes.
equal amounts of both of those, I think he'll get by until we get a proper establishment moment
Yes,
for him.
but I would
And
like to
that's not
see that.
Superficially, I see some parallels to Shinji from Fate Stay Night.
Haven't seen that either.
How dare you?
They quite
It's
literally would
glorious
have to.
and violent.
They quite literally would have to pay me to watch it.
I mean, that's fair.
and
The
let's
the
and to
problem
be honest with
the problem with me saying that is that's always an actual possibility.
Anyway, with
So
Kiyoshiro,
yeah,
what's kind of nice is that it's not going to be too long before he gets introduced
no,
to
yeah, they need.
Jellymon and battle. So that process will happen pretty
I
fast.
will say that the longer it goes, the more I'm convinced that that Digimon is just Nagatoro or anyone from that genre of shows and
Oh,
manga. Like the
yeah,
more that I see that design, I just go, "Damn, that was meant to be a joke when I thought of it originally." And now, the more it goes, the more I'm like, "This isn't a joke. This is actually going to be the character."
but that works.
It's Nagatoro, but an inkling.
I
Yes.
love foil partners.
And
Like
then,
she's gonna be a Gomamon. Like she's just gonna be this foil to this
mm,
uptight
see,
character.
I'm not sure foil is the right word. We'll see. It's hard to say because we don't really know anything minus a profile at the moment, and Digimon profiles have been known to lie. So then we have Hero, who's an like multiple interesting things here in that he's like a mishmash of various characters we've seen in the past, like more so than I think we've seen before.
They cover a lot of ground with him in
Yes.
one episode, which was amazing.
And we know why he doesn't have goggles. He would lose his eyewear and then have to find them on the ground. Because he's very much feels like Velma from Scooby Doo.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that at all. but okay.
where he's kind of like logical, figuring stuff out. He has tools with him to help him figure stuff out, which that felt kind of weird. I would have liked some mention of him being handy or something before he just pulls out the toolkit and starts getting into a lock.
I
Well,
get
I
the
think they
feeling that
kind
he's
of did
just
that with when the teacher just like started dumping tasks on him. It's just like, yeah, you're the kid that always does this shit, right?
yeah, and
Fair enough.
what I appreciate about that is, you read his bio and you get a kind of a Taiki vibe that he's just willing to help everybody, and you get into the episode
No,
and
he's
it's
just a
not so much
doormat.
he's not so much that he's willing, he's just really complacent,
Yes.
and he'll just, okay, fine, whatever. It's easier to just do it than to argue.
And now we have to
And
talk
that's
about the
which is great room to, that's room to grow
we
as
have to
well.
talk about the single most important thing. People keep talking about it saying 7G, but no one's talking about that they're not lining up the thing where it would actually be on the phone, which it just amuses me. Because they went to all the effort to design like modern phones to use 7G and all that, and they had it in the wrong place, which felt odd to me.
Maybe
And
just to
then,
piss you off
I
specifically.
and
didn't even
then,
notice the 7Gs, so
oh, and
I was
then,
watching with I was watching with a group. The nice thing about not having to write a big review is I don't have to pay much attention anymore.
and then, hey, look, some dim cards dropped conveniently.
As it does.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
And
it's it is.
merchandising.
Yep.
and Digivices. Then his dad starts to lecture him. I, I'm very. The weird thing about the dad is it feels like it's just Denimon, doesn't it?
Maybe like you definitely get that
Yeah.
vibe. I think he has a little more control over what's going on,
Yes.
clearly.
Well, we assume he
And he's
does.
not and he doesn't have that ridiculous voice, which I
Oh,
appreciate.
you mean you don't think he's dead, as the show tells us that he must be dead?
No.
Nah, he's
No.
just
And hey, it's a
Denimon
return.
wasn't dead either, somehow.
No, he was. They brought him back to life at the end, didn't they? Like he
He
was
was
dead, I think.
he was sort of laned himself on the internet or
Yeah,
something.
fair enough. Hey, and it's everyone's favorite voicing him, Beelzebubon.
I am delighted, but not as delighted as I am by the goddamn cat.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
everyone's like Black Tailmon. Everyone like has had an opinion on that one.
It's
I'm
like,
just
wow,
rolling
that
with it.
feels like me.
Yeah,
It's just one more thing to explain later. I love it.
if they explain it, they very well may not. It
They're
could
gonna
just be
explain
a
that.
Digimon pointing and walking off, because that is a horror movie thing. Because here's the thing, it's not very horror, but they're very much aware of the images expected from horror
Yeah.
films and shows.
It's
The
this
character
is
just
as
standing there pointing and walking off is like a common one.
yeah, but it's also they usually bring those around, and it is in the
Hopefully.
opening too. So it's
Well,
I'm
to be fair, we have an explanation for the opening, and the explanation is basically I wouldn't necessarily expect stuff, but we'll get into that later.
yeah, it's
And
I find
and
it
then we
really
have
hard to
our
believe we
then
won't
we
find
have
out
our
who that is.
hero, Gamamon, who's primarily concerned with trying to gnaw on the dad's leg.
He's hungry.
Yeah. And am I wrong, or is the
He's like a cat. They
so
bite things that they love.
so if we
Mm-hmm.
take everything at its word that we're seeing the actual digital world, is it just Digiquartz this time?
I
I mean, it
don't
kind of
know. I have a
resembles
feeling
it from that one scene.
You think
that
there's
there
an
is I have
actual digital world?
yeah, I have a feeling there is an
Uh,
actual digital
So
world, and
what you're
when
saying
they
is they were inspired by Adventure 2020. It's the same director, so we'll see.
I wish you'd let me talk. I think that there is an actual world, and I think it's just a matter of that when they, when he sends these messages, they sort of fuse into one momentarily, just
I
for the
don't I don't think he
message
said it. It was a
transmission
recording.
purposes. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. When
Yeah.
that's you see the recording, it's the hologram of the entire world. So I'm going with that there is an actual world right now. I don't know
We'll
how
see.
much of it we'll get to see.
And then the little brother thing's already kind of gone to me, to be honest. They kind of broke that framing really quickly as to what was going on, where for whatever reason people really got hung up on that term. And it's basically his father hoisting him Gamamon on him.
Yep.
I want to. Who's the mother?
May it's that Tailmon.
No,
And
Hey,
it
hero,
was
your dad's
cute. It was
scaly.
very cute.
yeah. And then the weird
It's like,
then we have the interesting connotation that people cannot see Digimon unless they have a Digivice. But then I'm kind of curious about Gamamon because he kind of isn't ghosty anymore. So can he be seen now? Do you think
so would those kids not actually be able to see Clockmon? Was that
what
I
they
think
your
kind
they saw
understanding?
like kind of like glimpses
yes, I
of
think
it
they're
because they're
seeing
calling it
a
a Sewn-Lip Man.
yeah, I
Yeah. Okay.
they're seeing like an echo of something. Like Clockmon was shocked that he was actually properly seen by Hero.
Okay.
So he's aware they can see something, but it seems to be why they're called hologram ghosts. Like they're seeing shimmering light, basically, is what seems to be going on.
Sure.
And Clockmon gave up that act really quickly once he got noticed too, which kind of amused me to be honest. Like once he realized the game was up, he was just off to fighting.
Yeah, that's kind of telling as well.
Yeah,
Like we kind of get a feel for
yeah.
how this is going to work for at least the first couple episodes. I have
It feels like it
this
hasn't
template
jumped.
feels like it's going to get old really fast if that's all they're
Yeah.
going to do. Like I think this has maybe 6 episodes of it. When was it in the run of Saver's procedurals at the start of the series before we got really tired of it? I think that's about how long it has.
I feel like it's gonna dump it before that happens, to be honest.
I
It
sure hope
feels like it
so.
does.
Yeah.
Especially if they're gonna do shit like the Digimon can walk off and survive the episode, which that was
That was
different.
it was it was weirdly
Unexpected.
it was unexpected and kind of useful in the sense that if they kept fighting, it would have prolonged the episode and it kind of
Yes.
needed to stop at that point, and it probably would have necessitated an evolution, which we're not quite ready for. It was
Well,
just
we
like,
sort
okay,
of got an
let's just
evolution,
move on.
sort of.
Well, sort of.
We get to see the echo of whatever the fuck his name is. There's 4 of them at this point. I don't remember the names yet.
I think that one was
Groose?
Groose Gamamon.
Good. So we got a Zelda villain showing up.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Groosemon and Vloosmon.
But either way, it's not a formal evolution. So,
No. But yeah,
that wasn't they did a good job holding that off because the time we had to introduce Hito and Gamamon was just not quite ready for forcing that.
yes. And hey, throwing a tree. It's nice.
The tree was
I like
I don't
that.
know, it's like it's almost a little too clever for me, but it was cool, so I'll go with it.
And I will say the one thing that even even yanked me out and even was unexpected was just how specific that vital bracelet imagery was.
Yeah, it's like buy this
When
immediately.
they actually
This is how it works.
zoomed in to show the sprites on the watch, even I went, "Whoa, that's a bit much for what Digimon normally does." And Digimon does not hide that it's a toy commercial. Yeah.
I'm so used to it that it really didn't bother me that much. Like even if it is a little more extensive than normal, I'm like I got through Tamers. I can get through this.
I guess I forgot that Tamers does literally use the card. It forgets about that it uses the cards, but it does.
The entire first half of Tamers is operating under the false assumption that it was trying to make that the card game was relevant.
And then it forgot about it.
They got
Yeah.
real about it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one. I could watch another 50 episodes of this easily.
I don't know if I could watch another 50, but it's certainly a good start. Like they're gonna have to switch things up
Oh, absolutely.
soon, but what they laid out for us was very good. I would think I was more impressed with this opener than I have been with any other Digimon opener. I think this is the first premiere episode that got an A from me.
Hmm.
We
One
can
thing.
agree it's not really we can agree it's not actually dark though, right?
Oh, it's
It
fucking not.
It's
Eh,
it's as
It's
dark as
100%.
the parallel I have is it's as dark as Luigi's Mansion.
You know
It
what?
uses it uses it all as a a kind of a frame,
It's not
setting.
really dark. Yes.
I
It's
mean,
not
season
actually.
0 of Yu-Gi-Oh is darker.
Yeah, oh,
The
absolutely.
funny
Oh
part
god,
the
season
funny part
0 of
was
Yu-Gi-Oh is amazingly dark.
the instant
Much more
you
dark than this, and that was a typical high school setting.
said Luigi's Mansion, you said Luigi first, so my brain jumped to the time Mario and Luigi tried to murder Inspector Gadget. That's how dark this is.
Now
And
I'm
then
just imagining like the live action Super Mario Brothers trying
no,
to
that's what
murder
it
the live
was.
action.
That's what it was.
What's that?
It was the live action Mario and Luigi from the Super Show, and they had Maurice LaMarche as Inspector Gadget
Oh.
there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking like the movie versions.
No, I'm talking about the old TV show. Like they
The
had
movie. Dare I say the live action movie of Mario was darker than this?
Oh, that's not even a joke. Like
I
that
think
Not at
there's
all.
an argument, isn't there?
I don't even think there's an argument. I think that like you can
I
say
think that
that
was I think one of the things that people disliked about that movie was it just
yeah,
felt so un-Mario like.
yeah.
But yeah, it's
It's
dark
not
is
dark.
when you actually introduce themes that strike people
Yes.
harder. And this isn't going to do that, at
This
least
ha-
not for the
th- this
foreseeable future.
this has a handful of horror imagery, which is
Yes,
very
the
different from
imagery is
actually
there.
being horror.
Exactly.
Um,
It's kind of like an homage to horror, kind of like some of the visuals in Stranger Things, where it's like it's definitely pointing out all of like the tropes and the
yeah.
visuals and
Yeah.
like
And
the
next,
opening where it's like,
I'm
hey, it's the
trying to yeah,
town, just go there.
I'm quietly trying to gauge how dark Stranger Things actually is. It
eh,
is enough. Like it's sufficient, but I wouldn't say it's the darkest thing
God,
on
Not
Netflix.
at all.
we're gonna have some shit to say after the new Ghostbusters is out. It
Ghostbusters was actually showing on TV
Ghostbusters
last night, and I was
Ghostbusters is
delighted.
actually a good comparison as far as, actual darkness versus
yeah.
using horror as imagery.
Are you suggesting this is a dancing toaster?
Almost. Clockmon is
Basically.
kind of a dancing toaster, yeah.
Yep. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's
Maybe
more
hey,
literal
maybe
than I thought.
Clockmon getting away, maybe Clockmon's Slimer. Think about it.
And then next time we have episode 2, The Mystery of the Museum, with everyone's favorite Mummymon.
It's good to see him again. It's a good spot.
Yep. And interestingly, it's weird seeing the designs because, like, obviously, it's been a very long time since we saw him in proper 2D animation. Like, I think the last time he was in animation was at X Evolution.
It's either that or like some backgrounds still full of other characters.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see him being animated and what they do with him, because that would be fun. And hey, let's talk about those songs, shall we?
Oh,
So
they're decent.
we have Faction by Wieners. She thought that was the song was really good, to be honest. I liked it.
It was very spoopy.
That's the perfect word. It very much wants to be spooky, but also not scare
No.
any kids in any way. And
It's
It's spoopy.
yeah, it's spoopy.
and it very much matches director Kakudo, who returns to Digimon Animation directing the opening
Yeah,
and
I'm kind
declining
of
the credit.
I'm reserving judgment of the opening until after Halloween when spoopy season is over and I'm not in the mood for it. We'll see how this plays in
So
January.
this is one of those songs where it feels like there'll be something more when we get the full one, and we've been very disappointed by
Oh,
that
yeah, we've
when
been
that gets
burned
it.
by that
Yeah.
before,
It
but
does,
this is
but
one that
it
this has
feels
to
like something's
deliver.
going on. Yeah, it really feels like there's something more going on in the song that we're not hearing because it's short.
I mean, even what we got, they kind of cut into a couple different sections.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, we thought that was going to happen with Q,
Yeah,
and Q was literally just stretched out.
yeah.
And Pedal, I'm still like trying to decide how I feel about, to be honest.
I kind of forgot what it sounded like already.
Yeah.
It's
I listened to it again and I already forgot it.
yeah. I like the song, but it's not super memorable yet. It may grow on us, but we'll see. And then we
It's
have
not
just
bad. My brain just doesn't care.
so then the various Ghost Game news. Now we got various promo videos before everything started. They were really kind of stingy with footage this time before the show started, weren't they?
Yeah, usually we get like at least like a minute or like a 2 minute PV,
Yeah.
but no, it's just
They
like some
showed
text and 30 seconds.
they showed a little bit on Mezamashi TV again, but there were no actually worthwhile recordings of it. It was camera footage of 5 seconds at the end where maybe you can hear a theme song, and it just was not worth going over at the time. Um, so the narrators Naoto Takanaka. He did a good job, but I worry they oversold what he's doing because it feels like they want us to think that like he's in the show or in the world, and that will somehow have connotations. So we'll see what happens next week because I worry they oversold him, and the voice really worked well for like in that horror vibe. Are you guys alive?
Not really.
I have nothing to say to that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking
I,
of
I,
Vincent
I have no
Price.
idea who this guy is, and I don't even remember the voice. So
It's Japanese Samuel L. Jackson. No, that's not a joke. He's Nick Fury in the movie dubovers.
okay, well, I'll
Yes.
try to listen for Nick Fury's voice in the next episode.
Yes. Then they went over introductions for the bands. Uh, more than a few of the members actually talked about growing up watching Digimon, like being in kindergarten and watching it and everything. One of the band mem-
Nerds.
yeah, one of the band members was talking about crying when it aired and how happy he is.
I'm so
Also,
glad for him.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
It's
cute.
like living
I
your dream.
I 100% wish that person used their actual name though, because it's like little star symbols with 560 next to it, and then more star symbols. And that's how the person is credited on everything I can find. I do not know the actual name to call the person minus 560 star symbol. But they also changed the name for Twitter because you can't use those symbols on an address, so they used a dash there. They're very excited about everything. That person was. I literally went to bed in the midst of a stream of tweets from that person. I woke up and there were still tweets happening. They're very excited about it, like shot cartoonishly. It was fun to see. And then, hey, they put up Digimon calendar at a relevant time.
Yay, it's still October.
Hey, at least I think it was at Digifest where they actually put it up after Digifest, but still listed it. I think that was that. So this month you'll be shocked. It's mostly Ghost Game. I know
How
it's.
about that?
Uh,
Surprise.
although the calendar did reveal one actual change. The on-demand of Adventure worked so well, they're actually moving up the on-demand schedule for Ghost Game for those in Japan. For Adventure, it was the
Hmm.
day after. For Ghost Game, I believe it's not only the same day, I think it's within a minute of the show ending.
So are they taking the
Cool.
17th off then?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. We
Mm,
fell into a strange COVID hole with Adventure because outside of the break, a bunch of things were canceled that otherwise might have taken up TV time. So we got very few breaks. Um,
Oh.
yeah, with
Oh,
stuff
like
like
there
sporting
might be
events
something
and
going on.
yes, where
Okay.
where and I'm not sure what it is, but that happens multiple times a year for shows in that time slot. With Adventure, we just got very few because that stuff wasn't happening.
Nothing was happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's sort of why, like, even if you count Hunters, Cross Wars it's 70. Is it 79 or 78?
79.
But it ran for basically almost 2 years because the time slots it was in was being filled by sporting events and other stuff. So hopefully episode 2 ends in a good place to stop at, because we'll see. I don't think our character introductions are going to be done by then.
Nope.
And then we had a Diginavi the day before. with the beloved face of Gamamon plush suit.
The face looks kind of creepy on that one.
Yeah.
It's droopy is the problem.
Yeah, that's it.
Like the Agumon and Gabumon one, it's like something pushes the chin up, so you're always getting like an even look at it. In here, it's like his face is like
Looks like
drooping
his eyes
down.
are sliding off the side. Yeah.
Lots of they did that interesting promo showing all the Digimon TV anime, and I had to stop myself from going. It was nice of them to include unrelated series Atmon,
You make that joke every time they acknowledge Atmon.
as I should, because people keep pretending like it's not, which I just find
Those
cartoon.
people are losers.
They are. That's why I mock them every time it comes up. It's like, oh, Digimon Partners has Atmon. How nice of them to include it. I will continue to make that joke until it hits the point where that no one can actually even try to deny it. Like where it hits such a cartoonish point that it's not even worth the time to make the joke.
So
So
I'm thinking card expansion is would be a good place for that.
it feels like where they would do it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Diginavi, we got the character rounds that we always like to see, where they show the character from different angles. They did the interview stuff. We got to see that Gamamon plushie, which people want to buy, and that 100% is not a plushie that's ever going to get made. I'm not saying they won't make a Gamamon, but that one is never being made and sold. That's like a handmade thing for this.
It can go live with Erismon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They interviewed the new director who's joining the old director for the series, and he points out that, him was on the original show. He was one of the people who had to keep track of what Digimon they were using. And around then's when it was also pointed out that he's actually a character in Adventure,
Mm-hmm.
as is one of Ghost Game's producers. They worked for Yamato's dad. See, you can't ever actually escape Adventure. And then they showed
Like,
off.
you're here forever.
Yep. Um,
Was he the one listening to the Water Buffalo tapes?
I think it was the guy who's the producer now who's doing that. He was the shorter
Okay.
one, I think, with like the
Yeah, I think the
bandana.
shorter one was Happy Water Buffalo guy.
Okay, see, I thought it was the tall one. And then for Diginavi, they did the English coroner this time, but I need to go and double check, because I don't think this guy was from Bandai America. They just put a guy there in sunglasses. And then they talked
Did he
about
show
how
off his card pulls in
no,
agonizingly slow
no,
fashion?
no. I think they grabbed someone who could speak English. They threw sunglasses on him and just had him be like cool American guy. But yeah, so
Did they try to pretend he was Samuel L. Jackson?
well,
That's too bad.
the coat is kind of black, so maybe.
Oh,
So they talked about, and oddly, they've already kind of pre-recording causes issues. They talked about how starting on October 2nd, you'd be able to pre-order from Premium Bandai USA the Digivice V and the other Ghost Game DIM cards. And then they went over a lot of products. They went over Rearise. They brought up that one of the Kokolo guys brought up that Agumon plush from last time. He spent $35 on Crane Games trying to get it. So
I
good for
do
him.
not blame him whatsoever.
No, like he was pointing out that he spent a lot. Then the next day they did another Diginavi. They did a branch edition because there was a streaming event. So they just had some of the producers sitting there and talk about basically the same stuff. We didn't go over that because that was a pain. But yeah, I still like how the real ones have subtitles. It makes it very much a pleasant watch. And hey, look, we got a new Vital Bracelet short and another really good one, I thought.
that would really be the only thing I'd watch this for. I just want to see the short again.
The short was really good.
It always is.
I absolutely love the Mugandramon.
Yeah, it's always fun
That
to
was
see
the
him be
highlight.
focused on. Am I wrong, or does it feel like the Ghost Game models kind of stuck out compared to the rest.
I think
He
that was
felt
the
more
point.
plasticky.
Yes.
I think they were trying. I mean, they were supposed to be spotlighted, so like they're. I if they did anything to make him stick out a little more, I think that was
Um,
intentional.
I guess so. It didn't feel like they stuck out in a good way, though. It feels like what Dev said, where they were kind of plastic. But we'll get to see more of those. And now we have 2 magazines a month with Digimon stuff because Digimon Dreamers began in Psycho Jump, and they put together a little like package of gifts for the first one.
I want them.
We got the nice Gamamon card, which I really like that art, even though there's no real background to it.
Yeah, it's a real simple background. It's a good
Yeah.
starter. Like
Yes.
here's your damn Gamamon
Yes.
card. We'll do more with him later.
Then sticker sheet.
They actually look a ton like the sticker sheets that you'd find in the little V Jump Digimon Zookens for the V Pets. Like pretty much exactly.
Oh, that's basically what these are. And then two-sided poster. On one side we get the I want to say the Demon Lords versus the Royal Knights, but it feels like you have to say Demon Lords a bit smaller, don't you?
We know
Like
who draws the eyeballs.
Yeah.
Omegamon is as large as basically the entire Demon Lord section. They know who the kids want to see, and then the other
Yeah,
side,
they know who the kids want to see, and it ain't Barbamon.
and then the other side is Tenya Yabuno Works. We get a nice big V Tamer, Ghost Game, and Dreamers.
I love his art style.
It's so cute.
Yeah, it works well. Although I would like them to commission him to do some profile art for V-Tamer stuff if they're going to keep using it, because at this point they're using like one image of each of them over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like, commission just a few images. He's always so happy to draw them. He'll post them when he's
Yeah.
not even being paid. So just like commission like 2 or 3 images of each form, 2 or 3 of Taichi, 2 or 3 of some of the other characters, because
Yeah, please
from
get some of the other characters. I want to know more about. Like, I'd like to see what Hideto looks like in color.
I think we've seen him in color. I think
Have we? I don't think I
Uh,
have.
because that's
okay, we
Omegamon Kid, right?
have, but I don't think
Yes.
that it was published in color
That's
in the Tankobon. I think it was mostly just
yeah,
like as the
yeah,
pages were coming out in V Jump.
yeah. He has
Huh.
like a black sweater a black sweater thing going on, as I recall.
Yeah, he just
Yeah,
wears black.
yeah. He's
Yeah, no,
emo. He's emo
I
kid.
found one. It's
He's emo
he's
kid.
he was black and white for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And then
There's no color to him even when he's in color.
and then, man, the role play toys. It's technically the first thing we ever heard about for Ghost Game was these, and
Oh, that's
they're
right.
they're exactly
Yeah, because we
what.
initially thought that they were just like, oh, it's gonna be like new colors of the Vital Bracelet V, and it's like, no.
Well,
Yep.
that's what's interesting and I see people trying to muse on what 6 of them means, and I'm pretty sure I know what 6 of them means. The top 3 are the 3 for the kids, obviously, and the bottom 3 is hey, look, we're going to get different color activated ones for each Gamamon evolution,
Yeah, and
because
Yep.
you can
it's
tell with the
yeah,
symbols are
exactly,
a giveaway.
yeah, the red, blue, and green also, but yeah, 300 yen for a toy of a toy. I actually want to see what these look like once like they're not, promo images, because I'd like to believe that you can do these pretty cheap and have them look nice. I think.
Yeah,
So we'll
it's
see.
basically it's just like a bracelet,
Yeah.
so
So I'm curious to see what that pops up with. Um, and then thanks to early data from the Vital Bracelet app, we got nice, reasonably high resolution artwork of all of them, of all the Gamamon forms that we know of for now. I'm actually kind of feeling them all, to be honest. Minus that very. It's funny. People joked about how much he seemed like Vmon, and a lot of the evolutions feel like they do also.
They're all his armor forms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like Wes and Gamamon, just like, oh my god, it has little tiny legs. Like a little wind up toy I used to have.
Yeah. We have the full dim card lineup for Gamamon. We have almost the full for Angoramon and Jellymon. It feels like they
Well,
could
we
have
know
just.
it's going in the other spot.
Yeah, we know one of the other spots because both of those had two missing. But it feels like they could have delayed showing these for a day or two and then just showed them. And hey, look, Commandomon.
Yeah.
And Goramon's gonna be very popular because Commandomon's there.
Yeah,
You
right?
can tell, especially since that's a really
He
nice
is the
sprite of
best toy.
Commandomon. Yeah,
It is.
yeah. And then Digimon Classroom went over the Digivice V and the Gamamon Dim. I always like to see when they do battles because when I'm going through looking for things to screen cap, I can always tell who lost by that. The one guy is always the person who loses, and he always looks very disappointed and sad that he loses. Because I believe he's lost every time they've done a mock battle. And you can just see him put his head on the desk and be done for the day. And then we have there's a lot of anniversaries this week now because Ghost Game has started. So
Yeah, they're
first
starting
up,
some shows in October.
the 14th anniversary of Digimon Data Squad from Toon Disney and Jetix.
Yay. That was a fun dub.
Ooh.
That's one of those cases where I honestly think the dub is just much more entertaining than the Japanese.
I actually haven't watched Sabers in Japanese since it came out, so I really can't comment fairly, but the dub is very entertaining, yeah.
And then it's the
I
10th
never
anniversary.
had Jetix at the time, so I've never heard the dub more than like a random clip or two on YouTube.
I
It's
think I watched
amusing.
it when it came out. It was fun.
And then it's the 10th anniversary of the only Emmy nominated Digimon program.
Now that you can fairly run into the ground every time. I
Yeah,
don't mind. I love that fact.
I like saying it because it actually gets some people upset that like Hunters gets some sort of credit. The young
I wish
Hunters
they'd.
who look good.
I do wish they'd have acknowledged that on the official, though. I'm kind of like, it is a 10th anniversary. I know they consider Cross Wars like all to be the same series, but Hunters is so different.
Yeah, it's weird because they sort of skew into treating it as, hey, it's just more crosswords, but then sometimes they'll kind of like wink and go, oh, it's the second production season of Crosswords, wink, wink. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but like even
Yeah,
like
it's like
the, but
it's its
even
own
Like a
thing.
bastard spin-off, it
I,
feels more like.
Yeah,
I,
it's this weird, adorable mess.
I think even in the history of Digimon TV anime thing, I don't think they showed any hunters. I think they showed the beginning of
No,
Cross Wars and they showed the big thing at the end of original Cross, and then that was it.
yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't have any hunters in that promo.
And then, hey, they really want to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Atmon, though.
Yeah, that got acknowledged. I was happy
A
for
lot.
that.
So we got the nice
Yeah.
artwork. Um, and Gatchmon eating his Gatchmanoka.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put up a bunch of things to showing off from before the show, like as the show was premiering, when they were showing stuff off at DigiFest, at Jump Victory Carnival, Christmas
That
cake
just
they
made
did.
me feel old that they're rolling out Atmon nostalgia.
And hey, at some point they have to integrate it into the brand. I have a vague idea what I think they're doing. I could be wrong. I think that TV Tokyo gets equity in it for a few years.
Oh.
So because that,
Hmm.
that that happened with say Transformers Animated when it aired on Cartoon Network, they basically did nothing for 5 years after it aired because
Okay.
so I think TV Tokyo,
Once that expires,
if
then
if that's what's going on, I don't know.
hmm.
That's my guess is they have equity for 5, 6, X years to the point that they stopped airing it. That's my
Okay.
guess. So
Hmm.
we'll see.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So we can hope we'll see stuff in the card game because it's weird to think like there's what is it, like
It was
170 monsters? Somewhere around there?
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
like
when you think about it,
107.
Atmon doesn't have a huge roster.
No, see, I was going to say, think about it. Like, they love to talk about how there's the number they generally give is just over 1,000.
Of Digimon, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you
Yeah.
think there's almost 200 Atmon, even though it was only around for a year, that's a nice large thing to add on to it at some point. So,
Yeah, because it didn't really, aside from like Agumon showing up, like it didn't really use
No, it
anything that
didn't
was
use any, yeah.
from a
Just
parody
Agumon.
the arcade
series at
game did.
all.
The arcade game did. We saw,
No
well,
one
we
cares
saw.
about arcade games.
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
So you're saying no one cared about that we got to see Tailbon and Patamon?
Nope.
Not at all.
Exactly.
Nope.
And then, hey, look, it's a pop-up store, and so this is where it gets weird when they do stuff like this, where it's like, oh, it's neat. They're going with a unique art style and using art that we've seen for 20 years.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, so you just filtered it a little.
Well, like that's what's weird. Is like the actual styling looks nice, but like if it had been new art, even I might have
Yeah.
considered getting some of this. Instead, it's just,
It's
oh,
the
it's
same stuff,
that.
really. It's just a
Yeah.
slightly different shade.
Yeah, it's a bit odd when they do that because it feels like there was some effort made, but then they sort of just, and like the products are even a bit different than we normally get, a little bit. And they do like the weird thing where if you buy the box, there's a bonus version of it that you can only get that way. And they're going to sell them all afterwards. And I'm not going to buy any of them because what's
Yeah.
They're all boring as shit.
Yeah.
well, no, see, that's the thing is I actually like the art style. It's just that the art, it's not that the art's boring. It's just, it's there.
We've seen it for 20 years.
Yeah.
The art is there. That's all I can say about it. But this is another one where the pop-up store is going to be like in 3-4 different places, and it'll be sold online after so people can get it. And then, hey, look, it's time for the thing that no one knew. Who is everyone's favorite guest Digimon from Adventure? It's Rebellymon. I'm not.
Surprise.
Yeah, that's one of those weird ones that like I feel like I'm supposed to be shocked,
Yeah.
but I'm
Were
not.
any of us shocked?
Huh?
Were any of us shocked?
No. I'm
It's
saying it feels like we're meant to be shocked.
it's
Feels
also
like.
weird. It's also weird, like calling it a guest Digimon since it's the first time he showed up. Like, it
Yeah.
feels like that's an exclusive for Adventure.
Well, they're kind of counting. They kind of are counting him as being Ogremon, which he is, but eh.
Well, wasn't Ogremon on that list?
I don't remember at the
I
moment, and
thought
the
he
page isn't
was.
loading.
Yeah, it's not. It's down for
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah,
Whatever.
same.
But
I
yeah,
don't care that much.
yeah. I think we even guessed it would probably be Rebellymon, didn't we?
I think we were all
Yes.
Commandomon,
Yeah.
honestly.
The Commandomon was very high, though.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally respectable. I think that, but I'm pretty sure that was our guess for that one.
See, I'm getting mixed up by polls because I swear Commandamon showed up like in 3 or 4 of them. I didn't even remember he was in this one, to be honest.
I think anytime Commandomon shows up on a poll, it's going to win. Is what our
And
stake
then-
should be.
And then what I believe is the Bandai mistake of the week. They announced it at the tail end of Digifest, and we now have images of the precious gem of Paildramon. And it is $280 and is releasing next June. And that is a fancy, fancy figure.
I mean, it looks amazing, but I just don't give a shit about Paildramon.
I'm shocked at how large it is. Like, it is Imperial Dramon sized. But I'm reasonably sure.
I thought it would be scaled smaller.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then the side by side, it's like, wow, that's a figure.
If it was smaller, they wouldn't be able to charge 28,000 yen for it.
That's true. And then I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to have these pictures yet. So what I think happened was I think they planned to announce it during Diginavi they didn't because they didn't really need to. They had enough, but they put the information on the site. So the way the product stuff works on Digimon Web is it's a generic address, and then the numbers change, which is what forces it to load the specific product. If you
Okay.
don't put in a number, it shows the most recent product put up. So people went to the product page and, hey, look, it's Paildramon. But there's no listing anywhere on the site for it except that one page. So, oops. And all the links on the page don't work. Like, it clearly wasn't meant to be up. And I think I can safely say none of us are getting this. Although I did
I mean,
I did think about it for about 5 seconds, if I'm being honest.
thing is, like, the Imperial Dramon looks a lot cooler, at least to my aesthetics.
So here's my
And I
issue.
didn't even get that one.
Am I wrong? Or is like, not the physical size, but like the bulk? Does it not
It's a big
quite,
boy.
it, like the bulk doesn't feel right for Paildramon, right? Like, I love how the figure looks, but like, it's not like show Paildramon.
Yeah, he's a little more limber
He's a little
than.
more crouched down.
See, the pose works for me. I more mean like the muscle size. It feels like
Yeah.
he's like been blown up a little bit, like a balloon. So,
Gotta get those furries.
and Rise Greymon had ranked highly in the past, and I did they announce they were doing one of him, or am I imagining that?
Hmm.
I don't recall.
I think they said like the first place in the polls were going to, and then we never heard any more. And Rise Greymon was 2, I think. And then cards. Hey, look, they're going all in with Gamamon stuff, which we kind of knew. We get a lot of previews this time for Starter Decks 9 and 10. And to no one's shock, it's very heavy on Vmon, Wormmon, Angelmon, and Lady Devimon.
I'm still disgusted by the actual text boxes just being split right down the middle.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
that's
fucking don't like
still
it. Needs a
not fun.
gradient. It
It's
desperately needs a
bad.
gradient. They put up the My Deck thing where you could share your decks, and when people have been sharing images, my main thought is the number that they put to show like, oh, you have 4 of this card in your deck to share. It covers part of the number of the card name, which feels like an oversight. And then we have Battle Pack 8. I'm just amused by that Gabumon card because I like that card. They announced another Gamamon promo card, which will be part of a Ghost Game promo pack. We don't know if it will be like a 1-card pack given away at events or an actual like promo pack, so we'll see. And the special entry set, which is the 11th starter deck, is going to be themed after Ghost Game and Adventure. Look at Agumon and Gamamon's just happy to be there. We already talked about the Psycho Jump card, which I really do like that card, to be honest. Like,
It's simple, it's cute.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And then Bandai TCG Online Lobby announced they will be running 2 events every month during the week now for people just to play card games. And if you show up, you get promo cards. And I believe all 6 of these promo cards were prizes at physical events in the US, and they were stamped with like how bad you did. Because I believe it was like there was like 4 versions of each of these cards where it was like participant, top 16, top 4, the winner type things. I'm trying to decide which of the art of these 6 cards I like the most. And
I was gonna say which one did you get for participant?
No. It was each card. Like each one was like there was 3 or 4 versions of each card with foil stamps on them saying like champion, how you know.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wanted it to be like you got
You
last
get-
place. Here's your Numamon.
You get Pico Devimon
I mean, I would
if you
love that.
participate. But yeah, nice looking cards. And neat that they're starting to use that thing. And They've done testing on an English one of it, but we'll see what pops up. And Fun Digica did episodes 99 and 100, and I don't remember anything actually popping up in episode 100 to celebrate it. I think they're just doing like the Q&A stuff that they do every once in a while. And then the fun one was, did you guys see the English card game trailer?
It was cute and nostalgic, but also not really.
I'm just happy that we got an English card game video that was not embarrassing. Although
Like, it's unrealistic, but it's good.
there's only one unrealistic thing here. Ignoring the way everyone acts in commercials like this, the most unrealistic thing was the idea that
That
people
these two have
actually
friends?
played the Digibattle card game. That was the most
They
unrealistic
didn't.
part. And
It's
then
like Tamers.
Absolutely.
exactly. And hey, they did a commercial using the Vital Bracelet short and the original Digimon Project commercial just to show off, hey, there's a new show starting, go watch it and go buy some shit.
I will indeed buy some shit.
Yeah. And this is where again where they're like, hey, there's over 1,000 Digimon. It's like, I feel like you can get a little more specific because it's over 13 or 1,500 around this time. I think it's over.
You
It's
got to
like
hit another nice round number to a 1,500 might do the trick, but until you get that, you're basically
yeah,
like, yeah, it's
okay,
over
yeah.
1,000.
I guess you're true. And as for round numbers, the Twitter has hit over 100,000, and they put up art. They changed the banner, and I love
See?
that
There I'm talking about.
the art is Agumon, Pulsemon, and Gamamon.
Yeah.
It
That's
or
snapshot of the franchise right now.
or as it shall be referred to in the future, Agumon and friends.
In 20 years, they're going to be like, who are these other two?
It's Agumon, not quite Vmon, and not quite Sonic the Hedgehog. And then there was a lot for the weekend batch this time.
It's supersonic.
I mean, yeah, it's super. I was going to go there too. Supersonic.
So first up, we have an update on the Fuji Lake Town shop. The Flash does indeed just make the rest of the poster appear.
Yeah.
And I
mean,
stand
we
by
figured
that that's
that.
not interesting because I think the entire point of it is you're supposed to stand like in the middle and get a photo taken. Therefore, you're
Mhm.
covering up Gamamon, which is the person you're most likely to want to be in the photo with you.
Yeah.
The museum exhibition upgraded their Ghost Game corner, very literally a corner. Bit of the products recording script, and they have printed out versions of the start guide for people who want them. I like when we get the digital ones because it's easy to share.
Yeah.
And they're also giving away promo cards, the adventure pack again. And then, hey, we got some handoff stuff. So first, photo of Yuko Sanpei and Matsumi Tamura.
That's cute.
I believe from what I read, this was just a photo from a recent event that was unrelated, but
Mhm.
yeah, wanted to post it. And she also, this is where like that the actors know the brand too much. She went, the adventure is now going to a new world. It's like, oh, that's like a tagline. That's a tagline.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They put up photos of that Agumon and Gabumon plush with the script for the last one and at the recording location, which we knew they were
They like
there.
carrying those around.
Actors have commented they were there before, so we knew that. Then one of the character designers posted handoff art to their Twitter where it focuses on Hiro and Gamamon, but you see Agumon and Taichi walking away.
I really like that, especially
Yeah,
kind of like the minimal color.
the framing's really good on this one. Although I'm trying to figure out what Gamamon is jumping for. Like Hiro's like going in the other direction. He's just
He's just
excited.
jumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like he's trying to like reach for chocolate, trying to steal chocolate.
Yeah, and then key animator Lee Baodong posted. He got permission to post roughs of part of the Omegamon fight, which was neat to see.
That was amazing to look
Yeah.
at.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got some interesting facts that they pointed out. For Omegamon, the reason we got the new attacks was the anime team actually, like, it says he can do these. Are there, can we use that? How should they look? And they got sent, sketch material. So that was them, looking through profile stuff and going, hey, it says he can do this stuff. Can we use that? And then for Obatamon Core, the explanation for him being used is basically going, hey, Ordinamon, Eosmon, Nighogmon. His opponents are very often big guys. We wanted someone that like toe to toe type stuff, which I liked.
I talked about last week.
Yeah. But I just like them actually pointing out that that's 100% why they did it.
That's
It's just neat
and
to
I
have it
pointed
pointed
out
out.
the faults of that last week. Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then, because I decided I was tired of not knowing, and since he was talking about going uncredited and stuff anyways, I asked Kakudo if he was in fact the uncredited director on the O2 audio drama from Kazuna. The answer is no. Which is weird, because it really does feel like his work, doesn't it?
I mean, direction, I don't know. I think that's a bit of a
It
leap.
felt like his styling.
Yeah.
Well, now we know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Ghost Game art. So from Kenji Watanabe, we get Gamamon, which, man, I know he can't do it every week, but it's always a neat when he does.
He's a growly baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Angry little baby.
Yeah, the one shot of him being like feral.
Yeah. And then
Vibe check.
Tenya Yabuno points out that he did the art for the end theme, and he posted
Which I
part of
love.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then him chatting on Twitter with the musician in charge of the group, and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna say it's a co-work between us. They like just sort of decided that on Twitter, talking back and forth. And we got to hear from Hiroshi Izawa, who's writer of Come On Digimon V Tamer. He explains the inspiration for Hero. It's Taichi.
Surprise.
Here it is.
Yeah. I just liked how matter of fact he said it. It just seemed funny for some reason.
Like it's just V-Tamer Taichi.
Yeah. And God, I love the art. And then, hey, questions. So you guys in the chat can throw them up, and we'll start with the ones that were sent ahead of time. Someone wanted to know, what Ghost Game products do you hope to see?
Yes.
Basically, yeah. We just want to see stuff. You know what? I'll say I would like to see like the $20-ish action figures, that sort of thing. Where they're not like super fancy, but they're kind of nice.
Yeah, like the D-Real kind of price point ones.
Yeah, that sort of thing, where you get some detail. They're not super high end, but they're nice. I'd like to see that. Although I feel like we all expect a Gamamon plushie of some sort.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Definitely.
The thing is, specifically, I hope it's like along the I Love Digimon series that are kind of like slightly lighter colors, but they're ridiculously soft.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be so nice.
Well, no, it won't be nice because those are always the Crane game ones that are hard and expensive to get.
I've got a couple.
I know, but they're so nice. The other ones are kind of like, oh, this is like scratchy. I don't want to hug this. Like, if I'm getting a plushie, I want to be able to shove my face in it without getting like
and
scratched
that's
up.
going to be essential for an Angoramon plushie too.
Oh,
True.
absolutely.
Yeah, and Goramon feels like it needs to be a fluffy plushie.
That needs to be made of like alpaca.
Yeah.
For her or something.
Or perhaps the Angora rabbit.
Yeah.
That would be very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And Galhart wants to know, off topic by their own admission, who do we think the last Smash Brother character being announced tomorrow will be?
I hope for the same character I've always hoped for, which is Fat Dude from Ice Hockey.
I can just see him skating into someone, them bouncing back, and I can hear the noise.
Fat dude checks in.
Yeah. Like a serious guess though.
Huh.
I
Like
think it's it's tough because I think it's going to be something from a relatively recent popular franchise. I think it's
Like,
going to be I think it's going to be something new, a new franchise. That'll be my only guess.
see
Well,
anything.
yeah,
Like
because I
it's
can
not.
see because Smash Brothers sold Xenoblade stuff. Because like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
Xenoblade?
yeah. But like I think I think it's going to be something from something moderately current and popular. It's not going to be like like another Fire Emblem character, or even like a
It's
Sephiroth or something like that.
you say that, but if it was Sora from Kingdom Hearts, none of us would be shocked, and that's literally just
But that
fire.
count. But that would be. I mean, that would be another new. That's another new character.
Oh yeah, but what
I'd
I
be a
mean
little
is
bit. I'd be a little bit surprised. I think that's. I think that's one where fans are getting a little carried away on that. But at
oh,
the same
fans are getting
Yeah,
time,
I
carried away
don't
on
think
all
it's
of them. I think.
realistic
yeah,
just because Disney.
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't feel realistic. But even then, that matches my criteria because Kingdom Hearts obviously has not been in the Smash Brothers before.
Oh, you know who it could be? What's his name from No More Heroes?
Oh
Ooh,
god, yeah.
Travis. Is that
Because
his name?
Travis
Travis
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Travis
Because
Touchdown.
the last few have been Nintendo first games. And Galhart desperately wants it to be Gino. Yeah,
We all
good luck.
desperately want it to be
Good luck with
Gino.
that
It's
one.
not happening.
All of my friends want it to be Gino, and it's like, okay, I'd be happy. But you know what I would actually personally want?
What?
I would want Quote from Cave Story.
Eh.
It's
I'm not
I
against it. It's
Or
just
the
not
Hollow Knight.
my game.
but I wouldn't like I said I wouldn't be shocked if it's going to be something like that. Just kind of
I would see. Here's the thing. I, I wouldn't be shocked if it was something kind of stupid like 2D
No,
Mario.
I don't
2D
think it's going
Mario.
to be I don't think it's going to be something stupid because it's the last one.
But that's a reason to do something stupid.
No, I
People
think
have been
the
annoying.
Is there anyone
People.
left from Kirby to use?
I don't know Kirby that well.
Oh, what's the fuck the villain from
The
Kirby's Adventure keeps showing up since
it's
then?
it's
The
going to
one that
be the
turns into the bat at
tree.
the end,
They're going to make Wispy Woods playable.
and he can't move.
And he can't move, but he can blow your ass off the stage.
And then someone wants to know why did the new Vital Bracelet video not look as good as last few? I talked about how they improved what they did, and the answer is they did not do that this time. They're back to just throwing it up at 1080p with the older codec, so we're back to it not looking super shiny. Um, and then someone wants to know now that we've seen the. I assume they mean Ghost Game because they didn't actually say. They have to mean Ghost Game, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
What's the question?
Now that we've seen them, do you think Shotos of the new evolution might happen?
I could definitely see that,
I could
especially
see
because the
that, yeah.
Shoto figures sold really well.
It feels like the
Yeah.
proportions are correct for all 6 that we know of.
Yeah. And
Doesn't
having
it?
6 is a nice number. Like you can get 2 sets out of that.
Oh yeah, you're right. That actually lines up like perfectly.
Yeah, 2 from Gamamon each, and 1 from one of the other partners.
Yeah.
I almost wonder
something
if
like
you.
that.
I almost wonder if you do.
I was wondering. I was thinking about perhaps speculating on that, but I don't know either. So I don't think there's no point in bothering to guess about that.
I don't know. I kind of like the guessing at what they might do. Like, I think you do like all 3 of them in the first one, and then you do the alternate Gamamons in the second.
That's what I would say too. But I think they haven't even been announced yet. So
yeah, if they even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Was that it for questions?
The one above that. You did skip one.
The one just asking if Groose Gamamon's could be a serial killer?
No. No, you were asking if it was possible Digimon Survive is being purposed for Ghost Game.
Oh, I
Which-
actually I skipped that entirely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you already read it. Is it
Yeah,
possible?
so if anything, so obviously no. The straight answer is a no. The longer answer is it's possible that they saw the interest in the horror aspect of Survive, that fans kind of their interest was a little bit piqued by that, kind of wondering what a horror themed Digimon asset would look like, and that might have inspired Ghost Game a little bit, but that is as far as it goes. They're still both separate things.
Actually,
Unless they throw in like some DLC later.
actually we know what inspired Ghost Game. It came up somewhere. I don't remember where though. The co-director was pitching a horror episode for whatever the show after Adventure was going to be in like the early days of them figuring out what it was going to be. And he was pitching doing a horror episode, and they liked the idea so much that's the show.
Yeah. I mean, if there's any influence from Survive, it would just be that it would perhaps be that, they've noticed that, hey, horror plus Digimon could be an interesting concept worth
Yeah,
exploring.
it's weird because we'll know better if Survive ever comes.
No, I don't agree with that, because I think that they're basing it off of the fans' perceptions of Survive now. If
But here's the thing,
Survive comes out and it has nothing, it isn't anything
but here's the thing,
horror related at all.
I don't think
That's
the
not going to
perception
matter.
was horror though. I think the perception of that group was it was going to be violent and dark, not necessarily horror.
Nah, I didn't get that. That's not the perception I would take out of it. I think people were going more. It's like, okay, it's going to be kind of just kind of creepy stuff happening in the woods kind of feel.
It's weird because we still know so little about Survive. It really does come across. See, I'm not sure you're wrong. It's just hard. It's just hard to say when I'm not even sure 100% what it is still.
But
Like,
that's the thing. But that's the thing, is I'm just entirely going off of like the one trailer we've seen 8 times, and that's the
hey,
information
there were
people
two
have to go
trailers.
off of.
There were two
And that's
trailers
enough.
and an animation. I'll have you know.
And that's enough to interpret that as being like, okay, this might be, creepy horror stuff in the woods. Cool. I want to see Digimon do more of this. That might have, that if there's any influence that Survive had on Ghost Game, it's that fans have responded semi-positively to that, and Toei noticed.
I don't think Toei
Yeah,
ever
spooky
notices
time.
anything.
Also true.
Yeah. We apparently did miss ones. Dennis wanted to know if you could have any Digimon as your partner, who would it be? See, I don't actually like whenever that pops up because it's a good question, but like the idea that you're picking your own partner kind of doesn't fit with how Digimon
Yeah,
has worked.
I'm getting saddled with Terriermon. That's just a fact. I've said that many times. Like, it doesn't matter what I would prefer. I'm getting Terriermon.
Well, I mean, technically, if you're going like by V Tamer, it's kind of whatever you have in your pendulum V pet, and you kind of pick that. So
My partner in Rear Eyes is Slayer Dramon. That could be interesting.
I went Doromon because it's fluffy, and then I can ride on its back like a pony.
Yeah, but the problem is how are you going to put it on the shelf? Because
It can sleep
at
next
some point, he's going to be Alphamon, and you're never going to get him back. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if that's not how Digimon work, and it's just the toy. I'm never dropping that one because that really. It always goes back to
I'll
me
never
to the.
live it down.
It always goes back to me to that they had the staff who helped make it had trouble doing it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna have a race to see who can do it fastest, and it's just like they couldn't do it at all.
Yeah. And then Ramon wants to know what horror type Digimon would you want to see in Ghost Game, not including ones from the intro, which that goes back to Kakedo saying that Digimon from the intro are basically just Digimon he's knows of.
Yeah, I have no idea which Digimon were in the intro, so
Oh, it
there
was
were a lot of them.
Lucemon, Lady Devimon, Piemon.
I'm not. I don't care.
Clown in a sewer.
two of the Dark Masters.
it doesn't matter.
It was basically a bunch of Digimon from Adventure 02, Tamers, Frontier, plus the Tailmon that shows up in the episode, basically.
The answer is Noble Pumpmon.
Yeah,
That's the one I would want to hear.
Yeah, that kind of feels like one that kind of, I don't want to say it has to show up because it 100%
It's
doesn't.
due.
Yeah,
it's due.
It
I
feels
would love it to show up.
You save that for a Christmas episode, I think.
It's
That's terrible. But
is it gonna
true.
sing?
It better.
Look, it has the limbs for the walking thing with the moon behind it. Like, as much as I say it as a joke, am I wrong that you could 100% imagine them doing that as a Christmas episode?
Oh, that'd be so fun.
I know.
I mean, even if
I would
they
love that
don't,
so
someone
much.
is going to swap the audio for it.
Can they do it in claymation?
Oh,
stop motion or
that'd be
whatever.
so good. They're not going to, of course, but I 100% would
No.
love to see that.
Oh man.
Like, we don't often.
Okay.
We don't.
Question answered.
Yeah.
Noble Pumpmon, that's the answer.
Oh, and Jordan pointed out the perfect thing. It should be Volcano Oda.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking die. Because just have it be Volcano, but have him do his Volcamon voice. Oh my god, he sung in the episode.
Yes, he
Yes.
did.
Just do that.
Yes, he did.
Oh my god.
Oh fuck that!
Now we need a Volcano Oda cover of What's This?
Oh fuck.
I unironically want this immediately.
Oh, I'm not even kidding. I want that. And
Oh.
and I guess it's not quite a question, but hey, we don't have an insert song yet. Do you think we get one of those next week? That's not like an audience question. I just thought of it right now.
I don't see a reason why we wouldn't get one when one of them evolves. Unless they're going to do the Atmon. Unless they're going to do the Atmon thing again, and I don't know if any of us want them to do the Atmon thing again.
Here's the thing. I will accept the Atmon thing on one condition: it not be quite as loud as it was.
No air horns.
Yes, we do not need the air horns going off to celebrate the evolution. I will accept it being BGM music. Just skip the air horns this time.
That's actually a really good question. Like, we haven't heard anything about that because there wasn't one this week. So
they've been very good on this as opposed. Like, not telling us stuff.
What strikes me about this question is because Digimon Ghost Game feels a lot different than
does it count as a question when I just thought of it at random?
I don't know, but it's just it feels very different from a typical Digimon series, as opposed to the idea that it would go follow some of the standards, like having an evolution theme song. It is a very interesting question, as opposed to like Atmon, which the first couple episodes really tried to convince you that despite the weirdness going on, it was still Digimon at heart.
Wait,
they kind of took opposite approaches.
Say that again.
Well, they kind of, how Atmon and Ghostmon, I think with their first episodes, kind of take different approaches. Ghost Game is. It feels like a very different thing, so that like you can tell.
Okay. I think you reversed what you said with Atmon, because you said it was trying to convince you it was Digimon.
No, Atmon was trying to convince you it was Digimon from the first episode.
I think it was trying to convince you it wasn't.
It's just that the formula, I mean, of the way Haru met Gatchmon and fought the first enemy, it felt very comfortable.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you mean now. Yes, I get what you mean.
Ghost Game, the way Hiro and Gamamon met and fought off the first enemy, it's a little different than what we're used to.
Okay, I get what you mean now. I thought you were saying, it was Atmon was very Digimonish, but it liked to try to pretend it wasn't.
Because on the surface it wasn't, but at its heart, it really was a typical Digimon season.
Yeah. Which is strange, because that was like the entire pitch to fans about that show, wasn't it? Now that I think about it, like, oh, it's Digimon, but it's not. And Wow, that actually was more accurate than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for questions. AR, can they find you anywhere? Do you still live on the internet?
Yeah, I'm still on Twitter. I have a first agent ARP on Twitter. My quick summary of the first episode in one tweet took off in ways I cannot explain. Like
Yeah, I saw that and I
that
fucking
got like
laughed.
150 likes, and I don't understand it when they usually get like a dozen.
Oh, because it's almost completely nonsense as to what happens and gets hits and what doesn't.
Yeah. But I'm also on
Algorithm,
Tumblr,
something,
and
something.
I do have Tumblr's a little more relevant now because I am doing quick summaries and grades of each
I think that
episode on
first one
Tumblr.
wasn't quick, if I remember looking at it. That was like not quite as written out as you normally do, but I believe it was actually kind of detailed a bit.
It was it was like 400, it was like 300 to 400 words when a system review article is typically 700, so it's about half the length. It's pretty quick by my standards.
Yeah, but that's still not bad considering you weren't gonna do them at all.
Considering no, I was always planning to do something. I just wasn't gonna.
Fair enough.
But with we'll see what happens though, because with my Appmon reviews, they started out that length, and by the time we got to the end of the series, they were full length, like 800-word reviews, because I was invested in
System
Appmon
Restore
enough.
will be back by the end of the year.
Oh God.
I'm not.
There's still more there. I sure hope not, because there's still more that goes into those.
I don't know if I'm joking or not. Is the funny
No,
part.
you are. I hope.
Dev, what Wikimon article would you like people to read?
Go look at Tesla Jellymon, because I spent like an hour trying to clip out that artwork from the background.
I'm going there now to judge your work.
Seemed like a lot of effort, considering there'll probably be clean profiles in like 4 weeks.
The work
Yep.
is good, but there's an issue, which I think you already know what the issue is. At that angle, we can't really see her face. Like I'm pretty sure I recall seeing eyes or something at an angle, but I don't know what other image you would have even used, to be honest. Like that's the only frame where like.
Because there aren't any. It's literally like 3 frames.
Okay, I think there's a fair compromise. What if you just recolored an image of Nagatoro
Oh God.
and just use that
No,
as
but
a
then
standard?
I'd have to add like but I'd have to do like a combination of Nagatoro and an Inkling.
Fair. I think AR hit the nail on the head though. You put in a ton of effort, and in the next week
There's
or
going
two,
to be
it's going to
something
be
official
canceled
in a
on.
month.
Although this can't be an image on Wikimon. It's 500 by 500, and it would be 320 by 320.
I make the rules, my city. I'm taking it back.
You can't use official artwork because the standards are too high.
And I can be found at with as always. People like that one of the rare posts I made that like you'd think it would upset someone and almost upset no one, which was me pointing out the how do you know if you're in a bad Digimon conversation.
Oh yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
everyone agreed. Minus the people going like, why would saying this is my opinion mean you're in a bad conversation? And I had to stop myself from going, that means you're the person saying it causing the bad conversation.
Yeah.
And then people started.
I just love the fact that you included Millenniumon and Rio in that. Like that's the telltale.
Oh, when I was writing the list, I even remembered like I knew Ryo and Millenniumon were gonna be put there, and I went, and I'm gonna put a third line with both of them. And then people started responding with their own ones, like shipping, and
oh, that's not fair.
Drew was from Poddigis, right?
Yeah, well, he was, yeah.
Yeah, he pointed out arguing about size and scale.
Oh yes, absolutely. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, there were some really good ones that people said, but that's the one that I remembered because that one, it was written Literally just size and scale, no other words, very concise, and it made me laugh because
The
that's
one
100%
I'd
true.
add to that is discussion of plot holes,
Here's the problem. Here's the
especially
problem.
in Digimon.
Anytime it comes up, very often when it comes up, people don't know what plot holes are.
That's why it's a bad discussion point. Like, it's
Yeah.
generally a bad discussion point
Yeah.
anywhere, but it counts for
Generally
Digimon
what they
too.
mean is they don't like what happened with the plot.
Yeah, basically.
There are actual plot holes in Digimon. I just don't hear them being discussed that often.
That's why it's ridiculous, because
Yeah.
there are a million plot holes
Yeah.
in like
And
every Digimon season has a million
they miss
plot
them,
holes.
and they miss them every time for like, oh,
Yeah.
Demon's still alive.
They
And it's
only
like, that's
care
not a
about
plot hole.
them. They only care about them in the series they dislike.
Yes. And that's coincidental. The only shows that have plot holes are the one you don't like.
How about that?
I know.
Actually, what's really funny is I thought, as far as plot holes go, I thought the reboot was pretty clean
That
for a Digimon season.
Here's the thing. There are things I consider plot holes, but they're really not in the context of the show. Like, I stand by that there should have been some reveal that someone did something to the fucking laptop.
Yeah, that's fair.
But technically speaking, that's not a plot hole because he had the crest of knowledge fucking around with the laptop the whole time, and that technically counts.
Yeah.
As to that it upgraded, so it counts, but realistically,
that's a great example. Like, somebody would just harp on that consistently.
And here's the thing: I have
it's like there are conceivable explanations.
Oh no,
out
absolutely.
there.
I have no issue with that being harped on, but it's not a plot hole. It's a plot issue. There is a difference, and I know you know that, but yeah, that's one where, or even the DIM card where people go, they got the DIM card and it was never used. They did. It just wasn't used in a way that was fulfilling.
Just used really poorly.
Yeah, they got it and they 100% used it. That they didn't use it again doesn't make it a plot hole.
That's it.
Yeah, it's very unfulfilling and kind of shitty, but that doesn't make it a plot hole.
That doesn't make it a plot hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we will catch you guys next time. Thank you everyone for showing up. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.